Review of control box cables, buttons, indicator lights, and what they mean. Control box cables from left to right are as follows. Orange flow switch cable. Connects and transfers 24-volt direct current to the flow switch on the pull recirculation piping for flow monitoring. Gray feeder cable. Connects to the junction box on the feeder. Transfers and receives the 24-volt direct current signals to the feed and wash solenoids as well as the high-level switch in the feeder. Chemical controller cable. Plugs into a chemical controller's chlorine output relay to accept a 120 or 240 alternating current signal. Pump cable. Customer supplied and installed by a qualified electrician. Connects a 1 horsepower or 2 horsepower booster pump to the control box. Control box power cable. Connects the control box to the facility power source for overall operation of the feeder and booster pump. The control box is designed to operate on 120 or 240 alternating current single phase. However, it comes standard with a 120 alternating current plug. A 240 alternating current plug must be supplied locally if it is needed. The indicator lights on the control box display feeder and system operational status. Once connected to a dedicated outlet for the first time, the red off indicator light turns on, signalizing the control box is receiving power and is in standby mode. Power button. Pressing the power button switches the control box from standby to on, making the system operational based on the selected operating mode. Mode button. Pressing the mode button toggles the feeder from manual mode to ORP mode. When on ORP mode, the ORP indicator light is solid. When a chlorine signal is received by the chemical controller, the ORP indicator light starts blinking for the duration of the signal. Manual mode. Sets the feeder to operate independent of any chemical controller and uses one of the 8 preset on-off feed solenoid timer settings selected using dip switches 1 to 3 inside the control box. Refer to the manual for the dip switch configurations and timing sequence associated with them. When on manual mode, the feeder will continue to feed in the selected timing sequence until the mode or power is actively changed, or if the flow status or alert condition is triggered. ORP mode. Sets the feeder to receive a 120 or 240 alternating current signal from the connected chemical controller to activate its feed sequences. When on ORP mode, the feeder will remain idle until it receives a signal from the chemical controller calling for chlorine. The feeder will go into its selected feed timing sequence for the duration of the signal. Once the chlorine signal stops, the feed sequence stops and the feeder activates the wash solenoid for 4 15-second on-off cycles for a total of 2 minutes. If another chlorine signal is received from the chemical controller during the wash cycle, the feeder will stop the wash cycle and go into a feed cycle for the duration of the signal. The flow indicator light is on if the connected flow switch is sensing flow in the main pull recirculation pipe. If the flow indicator light is off, there is either no flow in the pool pipe, the flow switch is installed incorrectly, or the flow switch or flow switch cable has failed. If the flow switch light is off, it will not allow the feeder or booster pump to operate, since it is intended to act as an interlock and protect the booster pump from running dry and to prevent chlorine dosing in a no-flow condition. The feed indicator light turns on when the feeder is in an active feed cycle. This occurs when a chlorine signal is received when in ORP mode or if on manual mode. The wash indicator light turns on when the feeder is actively washing and the wash solenoid valve is energized. The alert indicator light comes on blinking when the high-level switch is engaged due to the water level filling too high in the base. All feeder functions are stopped except for the booster pump. After the water level has lowered and the high-level switch is off, all functions will start and the alert indicator will turn off after a 10-second delay. This occurs if the venturi is not evacuating the feeder base faster than water entering the feeder through the feed or wash solenoid valves. Refer to the troubleshooting table in Section 9 of the manual to find the cause of the overflow and possible fixes.